We are now connected with the head of brand marketing at Google Indonesia, Muriel Makariem. Hey Muriel, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Muriel. So what is actually the reason behind the Bangkit program? Is it because of human resources shortages, or is it because of the lack of facilities and curriculum in our schools?
Yeah, so the history of the Bangkit program, I guess, goes way back to 2016. That's when President Jokowi went to visit Google headquarters in Mountain View in California. And that's where Google kind of committed to the president that we will train 100,000 developers in the country. We fulfilled that commitment in less than 2 years. And after that, looking back, we realized that that was such a valuable program and it's much needed in the country. How do we scale it up further? So in 2019, we initiated a collaboration between some of our partners. So we worked with Gojek, with Tokopedia, with Traveloka, and also worked with Ministry of Education to kind of design a program to make sure that we can continue to build on Indonesia's digital talent. If you know that the lack of the talent gap in Indonesia, the goal is to be able to meet 9 million digital talent by 2030. So that means about 600K per year, right? So it cannot be business as usual. Like industry needs to chip in and start training. And that's where Bangkit is developed. It's developed by the industry based on the needs of what the country needs and what the job market needs.
But it's also really good because you focused on when the industry jumps in, it means that it gives the students exactly what they need to know when they want to go into the working industry, right? So can you perhaps share a bit about the students, speaking of, who had passed the selection? Has there been any stories or where did they initially come from? What was the pool of target and what is the women to men ratio and percentage? Because this is always an interesting part of conversations when we talk about, future work pool, future working pool, students who will become professionals.
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. So what we saw this year with the application is that the number of registrants for the program has grown dramatically from about 40,000 people who registered last year to more than 60,000 this year. So that's a jump in by 60%. So there's high interest of people wanting to take the class and increase their technical skills. Now, out of that, there's a whole tight selection process where we narrowed it down to 3,100 students who are now able to join starting yesterday all the way up till July. Now, if we break it down, who are these students? So up almost 30%, so about 26% are female. In anything that we do, inclusivity is actually part of the Google DNA. So we want to make sure that the program we create is open for everyone. It doesn't matter what background you come from, what gender you are. So we have actually one of our most popular module, which is machine learning. 40% of our students actually pick that module, and 1 out of 3 students in the machine learning module are female. So we're happy about that. Yeah. And then not only gender diversity, we also want to make sure that it's not just students from big cities. So what we saw is also that there's even more interest with people coming from small towns. Last year, we had about 700 students coming from small towns. And this year, we were able to get about more than 1,200 students. So we want to make sure that the program touches upon everybody who's interested and who needs this program. It doesn't matter where they're from.
Right. So Muriel, it is really interesting that we also learned that there are 3 interdisciplinary learning paths that Google is offering: machine learning, mobile developments, and cloud computing. But I wonder, what do the students get at the end of the day from these programs? And can you explain us more about the learning process? Is that online learning process, or is it peer-to-peer learning program, or is it one supervisor with one student or teacher with one student? How learning is done there?
Yeah. So the program is quite intensive, and that's why we work closely with the Ministry of Education to make sure that students can commit their full time to taking Bangkit program. It's about 900 hours of learning, and it's a combination of tech classes, it's a combination of soft skills, and also English for professionals. The combination of the learning, some can be done on demand, some you need to join live online right now. Nothing is in real person right now. And also there's mentoring and support from the industry supervisors. Now, so you talked about the tech part, which is machine learning, there's mobile development, cloud computing. We designed it so that at the end of the program, these students can and are equipped to take the Google certification exam. The certification exam is a highly sought out certification. It typically costs about like a couple $100 to get, but with Bangkit, we support it so that they can take it and it'll add to their credential. The second piece is that we know while we want to build their tech skills, getting a job or even starting your own company is more than just having that basic tech skill, right? So you need the soft skill. So we also teach them interview skills, how do you speak and communicate professionally? We teach them critical thinking or even time management. And then lastly, what we heard is that because everything is run in English, the students last year had said that their English skill has improved dramatically because of Bangkit. So this year we decided to make that a curriculum. We're bringing in native speakers from across the countries, from all over the world to actually teach them how to communicate in English in a professional manner.
Well, that's very interesting. But since this is the third edition of Bangkit, could you perhaps share some success stories from the alumni? Have some started working in the industry, or some perhaps, got accepted in Google?
There's so many success stories, and some of them are quite, I would say, heartwarming. So first, when we look at overall, we learned that 44 of Bangkit graduates were able to find work after joining the program. And majority of them said Bangkit helped them find that career. Now, for the rest, because some of them are still in school, so they go back to school, or they either choose to get an internship elsewhere. Also, when we look at individuals, there's this particular story about a student. Her name is Shifa. She went to study informatics engineer at Bakri University. And during the pandemic, actually, there was hardship with her economically. So she became a Gojek driver. So on top of school, she became a Gojek driver. She would wake up at 5 a.m. every morning before school starts. She applied for Bangkit and then took the machine learning path, graduated, took the certification from Google, and then now she's working as an IT manager at Trapo, Indonesia, which is a local company. So stories like that is really, it makes you feel like you're really doing the right thing and changing people's lives, right? Or for example, there's also a group at the end of Bangkit, and they decided to develop this app called Naratik. And Naratik is an end-to-end batik platform where there's machine learning in there. You can scan the batik that you want to buy or you're interested in, and they get to tell you if it's print, if it's hand-painted, what type of batik it is. And then there's an e-commerce platform that helps consumer order the batik that they want. So that's just some of the few inspiring stories that I get to hear every day about Bangkit.
Wow, that's inspiring as well, and it gives equal chance for anybody to join this program, no matter where they live, whether in cities or in rural areas. But how can a student or anybody, Muriel, join the program, and what are the requirements?
Yeah, so the requirement is you have to be registered as an active student at a university doing undergraduate degree, so S1 or D4, D4. And then you must not graduate before the end of Bangkit, so before July. After that, you can come from any type of jurusan, any type of focus. You don't need to come from an IT degree background. It can be from anywhere, and then you can apply. Also, we do an entrance test. As if you remember, I said there was more than 60,000 who applied and only 3,000 got in. So it's quite rigorous where we test. You need to have a certain proficiency in English because everything is done in English. We test your programming skill, we test your math skills, and last but not least is the commitment level. So there's a personality test because we want to make sure that everyone that goes in is set up for success and can continue because it's a highly intense program.
Well, okay. That is certainly a very, very interesting program, and I really enjoy hearing stories that make great impact. As you've said before, there is a certain it brings a certain joy or happiness when you know that you're making good impact and influencing good in other people's lives and giving opportunities. So thank you, Muriel, so much for this, for your time, because this is definitely interesting. And I hope Google gets to do more years with the Bangkit program, because, we, with the Industry 4.0 coming, this is certainly one of the, targets that, as you said before, President Jokowi had to put for Indonesia to groom.
Or maybe Kai and also Mbak Muriel, maybe Google can set up a class for professionals like us to have this kind of certification and training as well.
Actually, we do. Check out our website, Grow with Google. There's plenty of classes for even non-students out there.
All right. For journalists, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, Muriel Makariem, Head of Brand Marketing of Google Indonesia, for your time.